What is happening, people? Welcome back to the Scarfe Spurs Talk podcast. It is the international break, so no pain of Spurs at the moment anyway. No losses to discuss, so a can't and a half, be bad at all. But thank you very much for all, for joining us. If you are listening on a podcast platform, please do drop us a follow and a 5-star review. If you're listening on YouTube, please do smash that subscribe button and leave a like. It does mean a lot. Let's introduce tonight's panel for his debut on the podcast, the wonderful Anthony Costa. How you doing, my friend?
How you doing, Harry? Nice to be on the show at last, mate. Thank you for having me. And looking forward to talking all things Spurs. Can't wait.
Yeah, should be a good one. Like I said in the intro, there's no, to defeat to discuss. I haven't got to pull you on after losing another game.
That's why I'm smiling, mate, because we haven't lost the game.
Exactly. It's
Playing
what
rubbish.
we like.
Playing rubbish.
Yeah. We certainly are. Not good at all. We'll be getting into that a little bit later. Thank you very much, though. Travis, it's been a while. Welcome back onto the podcast. How you doing?
Yeah, really well, thank you, Harry. Yeah, always good to be back on these podcasts. Look forward to them very much after a working day. So yeah, thank you for having me back on. Jim, I think we've met before, but nice to meet you, Anthony. As always, nice to meet some new faces.
Boys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. And Jim from the Oh So Spurs podcast. Again, it has been a little while, but it's always great to have you on. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thanks, Harry. Yeah, cheers for having me on. Good to see you again, Travis. And nice to meet you, Anthony.
Nice to meet you, Jim. Nice to meet you.
No worries. Let's get cracking. Do check out our sponsor in the kitment before you do. We're doing a giveaway, hopefully, very soon. So keep your eyes peeled across all socials for that. Let's start by discussing the Spurs Legends game. For people who didn't see it, ended 6-2 to Spurs. Anthony, who did you enjoy watching in that game? So there's a lot of hype, wasn't there? Building up to it, and there's a lot of big legends in there.
I loved it. It was the reason why I love this club. Just class players from Defoe to Keane to Berber to Ledley, to see him out on a pitch again. Even Dawson as well. And just like, that's why I love this club, as I said, because we have players like that, whether they're scoring for fun or where they're defending for fun and enjoying it and playing with a smile on their face. That's why I loved watching yesterday. I would take Aaron Lennon over certain players playing now, even Defoe as well. You could see they were playing for that, and it was only a friendly Legends game. And it was great. It was great to see, and great to see the old legends back on that pitch.
Yeah, 100%. I think you summarised that nicely. Thank you very much. Jim, was there anyone in particular that you really enjoyed watching and you thought, maybe, I wish we had that type of player now?
Look, I loved it. I love those things because it was like the best of Martin Jol's and Harry Redknapp's era wound into a time machine, and it was brilliant. So it was a reminder of how lucky we are to support a football club that has players going through it, that if another club had them for one season, they would potentially build a statue over them. And we've had wave after wave of them. You just have to look at when Sunderland signed Jermaine Defoe in his mid-30s. It was game-changing for a club that size at that point in time where they were going through their difficulties. And we've had waves of these players. Berbatov hasn't lost his first touch either. That really brought back some lovely nostalgia. It was like picking up an old console you find in your drawer that you used to play when you were a kid and going like, oh, this theme tune brings back some memories. And I found that watching bits of that game, actually. It was beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Sticking with you, Jim, focusing on AC Milan play. I mean, talking about, players not losing anything, Pirlo with that free kick. I mean, that's stunning, wasn't it?
Yeah, I actually have a question I need to somehow get hold of an ex-manager or someone to explain to me how a player so past their prime, you put them into a training pitch, a five-a-side, whatever it is, and you set up a set piece any way that you would have in a professional game, and they can hit it top bins every time. But to score even 20 goals over the whole career, like Pirlo did from a direct free kick, is an incredible output. But you put them into these low-pressure environments, and the wall's bigger because they've all got beer bellies now, so it should be harder to score, but he still just wallops it in, doesn't he? And yeah, just amazing.
Even Vorm applauded it, didn't he? Bless him.
He did. Yeah. I don't know if they just got better kind of centre of gravity with the extra weight or what it is, but Pelle's in pretty damn good shape, isn't he? So for his age, so yeah.
Yeah, stunning free kick. Certainly hasn't lost his touch. Absolutely. Travis, I mean, it was for a fantastic cause as well, wasn't it? Yeah, raising money for Spurs Foundation.
Yeah, I didn't actually get a chance to watch the game, Harry. Unfortunately, I was at work, so I was absolutely gutted to miss that because, as the boys have previously mentioned, there was some absolutely, nostalgia in there with obviously Berbatov, Keane, Defoe, and there was a picture on Twitter, I think someone put on there of an actual photograph of Berber, Keane, and Defoe all like with their arms around each other. It just gave me goosebumps, because it just takes me back to my childhood and remembering how good these players actually were. Dimitar Berbatov was just absolutely sublime, and he even showed his class yesterday with one of his touches. I saw the highlights briefly, but even Teddy Sheringham, and just it was just so good to see so many players back. Obviously, with some of them as someone previously mentioned with their beer bellies, I think they made the made the actual first at the moment look quite bad with some of the football that they were playing. I could see in the highlights, but even Aaron Lennon, he's come on so well with his battle with mental health and depression. It was just so good to see him back at Spurs. So yeah, really was good, and just had so much. It made me quite emotional because I've supported Spurs since I was very born, so to be able to have the privilege to watch them players play again was just absolutely fantastic.
Just miss it, man. I miss I was watching it last night, and even when Aaron Lennon had the ball, I've still got up on my sofa.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's why, as I said when we started talking, it's that excitement that they used to give you, and especially Aaron, just like unbelievable. And I've seen him live. I've played in a charity game with him and against him, and I'm like, wow, like he's still got it. And as I said when we started talking, I'll take him over some of our wingers we've got today, and they're in their early 20s.
Take him over Brennan Johnson at the moment, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, you said it, not me, mate.
Maybe if the game was 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
That is true. Let's sign them away. Offer them a new contract. This week's episode is called the Postecoglou Paradox. We went a little bit creative with a name this week, so it's only fair we get into this serious stuff now, and that is Ange Postecoglou and his Spurs future, which seems to be, remains in doubt, I think, once again. So, Anthony, I want to kick it out with you. The big question that we all want to know: Ange, in or out for you at the moment?
In or out, it don't make no difference, Harry, to me. I backed him. I wanted it to work, but it's not working. No matter who's playing, injuries here, injuries there. That's football. That's what it is. It's life. Have I enjoyed the football? Absolutely not. Last 2 years, I've seen no progression. In fact, we've regressed. You look at the table, and nice guy. I'm sure he's a great manager, but unfortunately, it hasn't worked out. So, not for me. Not for me. I hate to say that because you want to be backing the manager because he's the manager of our club, but results. It's a results game. It's a results game, and the results haven't been good. And I can't wait for the end of the season at 6 p.m. when this season's over because it's been absolutely atrocious, to say the least. And that's kind words coming out of my mouth. He's been backed. He's got the players that he wanted, I'm assuming. Brennan Johnson as well, Timo Werner's. And it just hasn't worked. And I can't see it getting any better anytime soon if he's manager next year. Sorry to say that.
No, that's why I ask. Honesty is the best policy. So no, thank you very much, Jim. What I like about you is you're patient, whether it be I don't know, with maybe the direction the club's taking or the manager, and you personally been complimentary, I suppose, of Postecoglou. Certainly very patient. Where do you stand today on his future?
Yeah, I think patience probably. Recently I haven't been waxing lyrical about performances, but it's look. Firstly, I can't blame any fan in the world who supports Spurs and says this isn't working because we're 14th. So I can't turn around to those fans and say no, you're wrong, I'm right. This guy's got it all figured out. But I do have a romantic feeling towards wanting it to work, and that does lead to me having perhaps a different outlook than other people because that's an unconscious bias, right, that then dives into me wanting to keep him and wanting the 6 months. I guess that's come from perhaps diving deeper into what's under the hood of what made the man. And I haven't really done that before with previous managers. So I've always been interested in managers, but I haven't gone and read 2 biographies like I have for this guy, because his just whole story of his family business, you know, being completely disrupted by nationalization in his home country, and his father moving a family into a new country that speak a new language, having to reinvent himself, going to school and loving the sport, you know, sitting in cafes. And I don't know about you guys, if you go on holiday to Greece or Portugal, those kind of European countries where you have those old kind of classic workers' cafes, they smoke cigarettes and just talk about football, and they're still alive now. Just imagining Ange sat with the old men, refusing to go out and play with the other kids because he wants to learn about football and be involved with it. And even when going to Australia, you know, going to an environment where there wasn't football there. And so he went, I'm starting a football club at the school. And them saying, we don't have anyone to manage it. And him going, I'll manage it, I'll lead it, and winning the state championships. You know, doing his ACL as a player, and then being instantly kind of parachuted into a leadership position and becoming a manager, and then competing in more competitive leagues than what he was in, and still winning and winning and winning. I admire the patience he's had, and I admire the adversity he's been through to get where he is. So I guess I have a romantic affiliation with the idea that he's been given the biggest test of them all. And maybe I want to give him that extra time I probably wouldn't give to a Conte or a Nuno or someone like that, who's brilliant individuals, just to see another 6 months until next season if it can work out. But again, if anyone says I disagree completely, I understand that. That's fine. It's just my my take on it.
No, that's fair enough. Anthony, I want to get your thoughts there. You're sitting there, kind of shrugging, shaking your head. What part did you disagree with the most?
You know, I come from a Greek family background, and of course, if anyone wants it to work, it's someone like myself. You know, from a Greek background, I come over from Cyprus when I was 7 years old. I had nothing, and I built myself up to what I did today. But that don't make me the best singer in the world. You know, unfortunately, it hasn't worked for him, and he's got to go. You know, I don't understand. I get, you know, Jim's got his opinion. You got your opinion, Jim. Fair play to you, mate, for seeing different lights, and I respect you for that. But it's a results business. I'm not here to, oh, he's a nice guy. No, I want someone that's, you know, I miss Conte. I miss Conte. I miss being fourth. I miss trying to challenge. I miss trying to be, you know, a Champions League type club. I can't be. We're not even. We ain't going to get in top 10 this year. So there's no Europe. We lose the Europa. There's no Europe for the first time in how many years? It's just not good enough, man, for a club the size of Spurs. It's not good enough, and I don't care. Like, it's not about, you know, mollycoddling. No, it just hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. We've regressed. And if this was any other manager, he'll be getting a sack. Any other manager has had worse results than us would be getting sacked. If this was them lot down the road, we'd be laughing. We'd be laughing. What are we? What are we? Are we a babysitting play? What are we? This is a joke. I don't see what people see the light at the end. I just can't see it. I wish I did. I wish I did. I wish you could sit today and tell me it's going to get better. But it ain't going to get better anytime soon. And I'm going to the Southampton game, and knowing my luck, they're going to win their first game in 15 games this season against us. Like Leicester have done. Like Fulham have done twice. Like this. Like Wolves. Like this. We just break everyone's records. It's just not good enough, man. I don't enjoy going to the Spurs. I'm a season ticket holder. I still don't go. I still don't want to go. It's boring. And people tell me Contes and Mourinho's and Nuno's were boring. This is worse. This is worse.
Do you not
And
even
managers,
enjoy the
as I
football
said,
then? Because a lot of people
managers have
turn
been-
around and goes entertaining. Do you not enjoy it at all?
Harry? What's been entertaining this season, mate? What's been entertaining? Name me. How many games have been entertaining for you? I can name you 2. Man United in the cup. All right, we nearly lost that. If it weren't for a Sonny corner, and Man City away. The rest has been absolutely dire.
No, I totally see what you mean, but I'm not saying it's what it should be based on at all. By the way, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. But
Do you want to be? Listen,
fans...
Harry. Do you want to, lads? Do you want to be entertained in a football match and lose every week, but know that you've played good football, and have 80% possession and lose 1-0 and lose 2-1 and lose 3-2. It's a results business. Unfortunately, that's how the Premier League is and always has been. It's where we are in the table and it's where we are all going to be finishing up. Because I tell you now, it ain't going to get any better anytime soon unless something changes. Sorry. I respect everyone's opinion. I have to say what I feel, man, because I'm just a bit tired of he deserves another chance. No. If this was Conte or Mourinho or Nuno, everyone would want him out after the first 10 games. And I'm
Andy,
sorry. I
would you
want it
pull
to
the plug
work, but it
now?
isn't working. Sorry.
Would you wait to the end? Did you pull the plug now? Would you wait to the end of
No,
the
you
season?
might as well, mate, Harry, it ain't going to get any better. You might as well wait to the end of the season. As I said, 6 p.m. in May. See you later.
That's a definite decision for you. You're not,
Mate, I wanted it. Listen, how many? I can't stress enough. I wanted it to work, and I questioned him last year on Last Word on Spurs with Ricky, and I said I can't see this getting any better anytime soon. And this was after we won. We were 10-game unbeaten. I just saw things happening, injuries, ACLs, hamstring. How many injuries have we got this season? It's part of football. You can't keep blaming the injuries. Tamworth away. Come on, man. Come on. If that was any of the other two managers, they would want them. Some fans would wanted him sacked. Am I right or wrong? Please tell me.
No, you're
telling
right.
me
You're
you like
absolutely right.
Tamworth away, going extra time against a South Division club. Come on, man. It's embarrassing. How many more times we're going to get embarrassed this season?
No, we've been
Sorry,
bad.
end of rant.
No, it's absolutely fine. No, we've been awful this season. So, this is why we do these podcasts, to vent frustration. So we have been bad.
Dreadful.
So,
Yeah.
no, that's absolutely fine. Thank you. Travis,
Good.
I'll come to you next because I'm interested to get your thoughts. Firstly, Ange, in or out, firstly?
Honestly, I'm at the end of my tether with Ange now. And that's not because I'm jumping on the bandwagon and being Ange out like a lot of supporters are. I think that's just my honest opinion. I think his after match things are absolutely draining and just so boring. I think he's arrogant and I think he's just well out of his depth. I don't think he's going to last. I think he'll get to the quarterfinals against. I can't think who we've got now.
Frankfurt.
Frankfurt, and I think if we lose out, I think he'll be out the door. The fact that Daniel Levy, the most prolific owner in the Premier League, who sacked managers, has given him this amount of time, he's just absolutely beyond me. You look at Mourinho, you look at Conte. Conte, he called him out, and he was absolutely. I listened to that thing near enough every day, because he was absolutely bang on with what he said. Brutal, but brutally honest, and he was not wrong in what he said. And the proof is in the pudding. And I am Ange out. I'm sure we'll get onto the conversation about Mauricio Pochettino maybe a bit later. I don't know, but yeah, I'm Ange out. I think he's well out of his depth, and I think his time is up. I had such high hopes. I was so against him when he come from the Scottish League to the Premier League. Obviously, it being a different league, but I had such high hopes for him because I thought this guy actually gets it. He gets the structure of the club. He understands the way Tottenham want to play. Everything about him just shone bright lights for me. And now it's just gone from one extreme to another. So I'm done with it.
Can I just butt in? Coming to what you're saying, Travis, mate, and Jim, please join it, like jump in as well, and Harry as well. It's not so much the football. It's being 1-0 up, 2-0 up, 2-1 up, 3-0 up, and you're not changing it. And then we end up losing 4-3, 2-1, 1. It's them games that I think all them results that we were 1-0s and 2-0s up and we've lost. Not good. Why don't you change things up?
He won't change.
Why is there no plan? He never changes it.
Won't change, Andy. He that's what I'm saying. He's so arrogant in the way he wants to play football. He's got no plan B. He's got no plan C. You know, Mickey van der Ven and Romero are back from injury now. You know, I think Romero's called the medical staff out on Twitter as it is anyway. Obviously, we've played the Argentinian squad, and fair play to the bloke, you know. But you need this. You need these sort of players to call these people out. Otherwise, nothing's going to change. Would it change anything? I don't know. I could sit here until I'm blue in the face and just say how fed up I am with it. I'm sure, as I said, a lot of other Tottenham fans are as well. But the fact he rested Mickey van der Ven against Fulham, what's that all about?
I know,
you know?
I know, mate. I know.
Why change it? You know, the only positive thing I can say about Ange Postecoglou is he has given Jed Spence the chance that he needed.
Yeah.
And now it proves why he needed to get into the squad, because he's been absolutely superb.
He's been
absolutely spot on.
Brilliant. Yeah. But do you know what as well? Like, I went to the Man City game when we lost 1-0. And it's like people around me, I was just hearing people chatting. And it was like, oh well, we got the AZ game. I'm sure we'll beat them. And I was thinking, I was so annoyed that we lost. But there's people accepting a defeat like it was just having a pint of beer and going, oh well, never mind, mate, we lost. Oh well, we got AZ. Who's to say we're going to beat them? All right, we did. We eventually got through. I get that. We still lost the first leg, but it's still the fact that it's been drained into us to accept defeats and go, oh well, it was entertaining. What? I weren't entertained. I was bored. We're Tottenham Hotspur. We're going to lose games. Absolutely. That's in our DNA. But go down fighting, man. Go down fighting. 70, 80 minutes, no shots on target. How's that acceptable?
Exactly.
How's that acceptable?
There's no fire in the squad. There's absolutely no motivation, and I've said for season after season now, there's more going on inside Tottenham Hotspur Football Club than what the fans even see, and I think that's been going on for a long time now. Whether that's personally or professionally, I don't know, but I think even James Maddison's had a barmy with Ange, and I'm sure he's not the only player, you know. So there is definitely mentally more that goes on in that dressing room and at that training ground than what they even give off with every manager so far.
And to you know, I was at the end of my tether. This was last season when we were 3-0 down to Arsenal at half time, and I went, nah, I'm done. That's not acceptable, mate. That ain't acceptable at all. This is 1990.
My dad's even refused to watch a couple of games, and he's been watching Spurs since the 60s, so he gets it completely.
He gets it.
Yeah.
Well,
but Jim, enlighten me, mate. Please, Jim, tell me.
No,
man.
I'm just conscious of not jumping in and coming across like I'm saying anything you're saying is something I disagree with, like, or is wrong. Because what I'm finding with the whole debate with Ange at the moment is I think it's often on both sides are culpable with the argument, in sense that if you're on the Ange inside like me, it can be, if I start jumping in and, you know, here's my defense A, defense B, and defense C with a guy, it can get quite dogmatic and almost like I'm not hearing very valid points that you're making.
Not at all.
And like you, I'm a season ticket holder. I've been going, I don't know how long you've been going. I judging by the shirts behind you, you're a very dedicated fan who's probably been, yeah, exactly. I guess where maybe I'm seeing it, and this doesn't make me thinking, it doesn't make me right, but the outlook I have, I guess, is I've stopped trying to look at it as being defined by 18-month periods, managers, because I've just been so, and I would just caveat this as well. I don't agree that Spurs fans are not being patient with Ange. I think Spurs fans have been completely worn down to the bone, not just by this scenario, but right the way from that point where Pochettino wasn't given funds in that transfer window. We were told to be patient, and the new stadium would come, and if we were patient, the squad would get an overhaul.
Yeah,
the new stadium came. Poch, we lose Poch. New stadium, more change and adversity. Mourinho comes in. We were told big manager. He'll get the best out of Kane and Son. Stick with us, guys. We're going to back this big manager. Didn't happen. Conte comes in, and Nuno comes in. We'll kind of fleet past that period because it's kind of a funny one. But then Conte comes in, and I was so excited for Conte because I do think he's a world-class coach. I think in the right setting, he will succeed in most clubs. I think he's a brilliant manager. But we were told to be patient again. And then Spurs have to endure Stellini and Mason for another 6 months. And we had to endure probably the most painful 6 months I've had as a Spurs fan, because there was 6 months of a season where there was just nothing to hope for in those 6 months. It was just, can we stop the season now? It was horrible. And then another manager's come in and we've gone, just be patient and endure being in the bottom half of the table for a season. Just endure not having shots on target for some games. Just endure losing to Arsenal a few more times, and the good times will come. So can I disagree with anyone who's like, screw this, I've had enough, I'm completely at my wit's end. Can we just go back to a sensible appointment of someone who's got Premier League experience, someone who's going to get us back into the top 6 or 7 in the Premier League, and have me looking forward to a normal match day weekend, right? And I think the only silver lining over the last 18 months has been, I think under Poch, we maybe flew a bit close to the sun, that old Greek analogy, and our expectations rose to a point where we found it quite hard to enjoy things because our expectations rose. They have come back down again as a result of this bad period. And that's very small. I wouldn't call it a silver lining. I'd call it a rusty copper lining to the situation. But I am at a point where I've gone through 18 months of this and read this history about the guy and seen him overcome some hurdles in the past. And for the sake of another 6 months of pain, I want to see if we can overcome it. And there are some reasons, and I completely agree why you might not agree with them, but I look at what happened, and the drop-off was nowhere near as significant, right? But if you look at the whole system around Man City and when their season kind of fell off a cliff, it wasn't just losing Rodri that did that to them. It was losing Rodri and De Bruyne, because they have a system that relies on them to have a player in the final third of the pitch who gets 90% of those forward front 3 passes right. Because if you lose the ball in that turnover, you are highly culpable to a counter-attack. And you lose Rodri and you're cutting through butter in their midfield. And it's very similar to us in that sense, except we've got much worse wingers and a worse striker. So you lose the ball infinitely more often, and you don't have a Rodri in midfield, and you just cut through time and time again. How many times have we seen Pedro Porro stranded at the back post? But I do also think, and the area I guess that gets me a bit defensive, guys, and this is where I've tried to stop doing it, because I'm just as bad as anyone who is the complete opposite. And it's not that you guys, I mean, like you said, Antti, you tried to make this work. You've tried to give it a go. You've been patient. I'm not referring to you. I'm saying people who from day one said, I'm not giving this guy a chance. It's just as bad for me to say nothing he's doing is wrong. This guy is perfect. He's going to figure it out. He's a messiah. Scotland to Premier League isn't different. They are all different, and they are massive hurdles. But I am at a point where I do want to see it given 6 more months, and I can know why you would be thinking that's crazy. But equally, if we did make a decision to move on into the season, I'm not going to not go and support the next guy and be like, that was a terrible decision. I'm going to go, fair play. Who can argue? We're 14th. We did well in some cups. We progressed deeper than we normally did, but ultimately it was a failed season. He was given time. He was given resources, and it didn't work out. We move on. But I do have this kind of still this little dying ember of belief that one more window and into next season it can work. And look, we get to Christmas and it hasn't. I'm like, at least we saw that one through. For the first time, Daniel Levy gave a manager, but it'd be ironic if he gave the wrong manager the time to see it through. But I would like to see him just give a manager a full bout and a spar and all 12 rounds to prove they can do it.
Jim, can I start that you've said there that's really, really, really interesting? And please disagree to agree, guys, if you want to. But something that you said there, with Man City's midfield, they've got De Bruyne and obviously they've got Rodri, who's obviously in at the moment. But the difference between Tottenham and Man City is with Man City having them 2 players out on injury, obviously barring De Bruyne, obviously Rodri's out, they still fight. And they still play football, and they still score goals. When we've got the likes of Bentancur out or Maddison, we still don't really have a bad midfield. Bissouma has gone downhill drastically, and I really hope we sell him in the transfer window, because he's been absolutely awful. I don't know what's happened to him, and I'm gutted because he was really good when he first come. But the problem is when we've got players missing and we're playing games, we think, hold on a minute, we haven't got 2-3 players playing here. We're not going to bother fighting because we rely on them 2 main players. Whereas City, they can see past that and they still score goals and they still battle. That's the difference between the 2 teams.
I do agree. I guess where I see a stark difference is when Man City are missing Rodri and De Bruyne, they've still got players that I think would all be the first name on the team sheet for us in Haaland, Savinho, Doku,
Foden,
Gvardiol, Gundogan. Like I can go on all night. I still think their squad is that much better that they can handle the losses of others, and other players can pick up the slack a bit better than us. We're going in and going, please, Brennan Johnson, rescue us. It's a very different conversation to please, Erling Haaland, rescue us.
This is the problem. We rely on too many players. We relied on Harry Kane to score goals when he played.
We did. That was a huge part.
We rely on Romero and Van der Ven. I can understand why, especially Van der Ven, one of the best centre backs we've ever had, in my opinion. But we rely on players far too much. I think we let our heads drop when these players go out injured.
We got complacent with Kane, like so complacent. When we came 8th with peak Kane and Son. And it does make me now look back and go, because when we sold Kane, I was like trying to look at possible, like, okay, look, he's going to go anyway. If we reinvest that 100 million quid, maybe we can build a more balanced squad and tread water for 5 minutes and then build from there. But my word, if we didn't have peak Kane and Son on that side, I actually think we'd be similar to where we are now. Like to take out those 40 odd goals.
Yeah.
The way we've let this squad get to this point is the bigger issue. Like we were doing
this neglect, isn't it, from the board?
It is, and it's a loss of identity because it's not even about we've actually started spending a lot more money, but it doesn't mean we spent it well. It's like when we had that Poch squad, that was built over years of really smart, high quality young players around Europe who were still internationals, like Jan Vertonghen, Toby Alderweireld, Christian Eriksen. Dele Alli was from the Championship, but he was from some cool scouting mechanism. But anyway, we had all these brilliant young players, Hugo Lloris, Kyle Walker, all coming through. And then it seemed like, why did we, if we kept signing players like that for Poch, the conveyor belt of talent, it didn't have to be superstar. The conveyor belt of super young talent coming through would never have let that squad stagnate. But we seem to
we should never have let Kyle Walker leave. I mean, we sold Eric Dyer.
Yeah.
I won't even get onto the subject of Eric Dyer, but he's gone, which I'm happy about because I couldn't stand Eric Dyer, as Harry knows. But as for Kyle Walker, we should never have let him go.
Mm.
Oh, we've never replaced him, really, have we? Really,
no.
Since he went,
no.
Apart from Van der Ven,
it's just so many. It's like 8 years of bad decision making came to a head to this point. And if personally, I think some of you would put the manager in that camp of those bad decisions, of those. But I just think it's down to losing our identity and trying to go to a different style of football that just meant overhauling a squad that was already thin, signing the completely wrong players, signing short-term managers. And let's face it, Conte never wanted to be here. He rejected us. We convinced him to join on a very short-term contract, and he didn't want to buy or even rent a property here. He lived in the lodge, and he openly missed his daughter a lot. He had a huge adversity in his personal life, and he just couldn't wait to get back to Italy and be home. So it's just like, but why did we keep going down? Why did we even go down that path then? If that was so, Daniel Levy must have known, interviewing Conte, whether his heart was in it or not. And even though I really wanted Conte, and I think if we'd got him at a different time and given him a different kind of support, I think he would have. I think if you gave Conte, this isn't a Pochettino bash, because I love Poch, but I think if you'd given someone like Conte a squad like Poch had, I think we'd have won a title. I think if you gave him peak Vertonghen, Alderweireld, Rose, Walker, Dembele, Eriksen, Kane, and Son, I think Conte would win you a title.
Yeah. You know, Mourinho and Conte had, no disrespect, they had Winks and Skip in midfield. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I know.
The back line was awful.
Mura, what's that?
The back line as well was awful with them.
Yeah, Sanchez and Dyer.
Wasn't great at all, was it? So, you know, Ange has been backed, as we've said. I'm not, saying that
he has been. He's been given huge more backing than anyone else.
Loads of money, loads of backing, but it's just the players that he's bought. I'm sorry, it's just not been great. And it just feels like, as I said when we started talking, we've regressed. Bar Spence, I can't see anyone that's progressed. You know, giving the youngsters a chance, yeah, it's great, but you know, we were crying out for a centre half all transfer window, and he sends Dorrington out on loan to Aberdeen, and you're like, and it only took the last day of the window second to last day to get Danso in. You know, we needed a defender. We needed a centre-back. You know, Vertonghen and Romero got injured back in early December. Where's the planning? Do you know?
It's the lack of planning. It's
lack of planning, mate. And not all of it is Ange's fault. But unfortunately, with the tools that you've got, mate, you've got to... you got to try and get results. And as we said, the results have been absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, no,
I
definitely.
think
And
Ange would have had a lot. Oh, go on, sorry. Go on.
no, after you. No, go for it.
So I just think like maybe bringing in someone with a style of football that is like high octane. You need the right squad for that football to work, right? It's not the type of football you bring in when you're going through that level of a rebuild. I think in the Premier League, I think it's kind of football you bring on when you've got an established good set of players, a good squad, and you're adding to it. And I think at this time it's been a very turbulent moment to bring in that kind of football.
Yeah, and it's just all about the in-game management for me. Again, we lose 4-1 or 4-2 to Chelsea after being 1-0 up. The year before last, and we're down to 9 men, and it's just the thing of it's who we are, mate. And I'm like, really? So I'm going to be going to Spurs thinking we're going to be losing 4-1s and 5-2s every week? That's not football. That's not enjoyable. What? Because you're seeing 6-7 goals. It's just not good enough, man.
Well, yeah, there's so the frustrations I find though is like if we put Archie Gray and I get the injuries are also culpable to the manager's system, right? So there's a reason behind that. But I still think if you said to Pep, right, Archie Gray and Ben Davies are going to be your centre back, Brennan Johnson's going to be your right winger, and you're going to have to play with no holding midfielder. I think they'd be languishing around 4 or 5 places lower in mid-table as well. So I think like at the time where you're going through that rebuild and you don't have the players, why did you bring in a manager that requires those players? So why don't you go on a journey and you start first and go, let's get the sensible Eddie Howe in, or okay, that's a harsh Eddie Howe. He's a brilliant manager. Let's just say, let's get the sensible, pragmatic, I can get you 6th place, change my tactics every week and just get through games type manager. And then you move to an Ange when your squad is like, okay, we've got world-class players. Berryvale's hitting form now. He's hitting his age, as are these other youngsters we've bought. Now this high octane, but we can get away with it now because our players are that good. We can watch beautiful football. I just think there's just so many reasons behind why we've ended up in this absolute mess of, and it's just, and actually there is some green shoots. I do want to highlight how much Berryvale's kicked on the last 6 months, and Wilson Odegaard as well. Like, I think he's shown flashes of how much we've missed him this season, not having that player to rotate with Sonny with on the left wing. That's been massive for us. So yeah, anyway, I'm rambling a bit now with that.
Yeah. No. It's good to hear your points of view. Absolutely, mate. And it's interesting. It's interesting because I see things as I see them, and I call things as I see them. I'm sure some Spurs fans do. And being 14th with the club that we are is absolutely atrocious. And as I said, I can't see it getting any better. I want this season to end. It's probably been one of my worst seasons supporting this club, and I've been supporting this club since I was born in 1981, and I've seen some rubbish. Trust me, like I'm sure you guys have as well. But everyone goes on about the mid-90s, but the mid-90s there was no expectation. We weren't in Champions Leagues.
So true, yeah.
We weren't in Europa Leagues or UEFA Leagues at that time. It was good old Spurs, and that's fine. I could accept that. In 6 years of being at secondary school, I think we beat Arsenal twice, and most of my mates are Arsenal fans. But it was just banter, and that's fine. But now the pressure's on, and we have tasted the Champions Leagues. We've tasted quarterfinals here, semi-finals there, finals and stuff, and we haven't got over the line. Will this guy get us over the line in the Europa? I bloody well hope so. Of course we do. Of course I want to go on and try and win it, but I just can't see us winning it, and I hate being negative. I'm sorry.
It will be really tough. Frankfurt are a very good side.
Yeah,
and they've got their players have a lot more European experience. Well, actually, I think you've got World Cup winner in ours, and you've got Bentancur as a league winner as well in Italy, and etc. But you have to say in recent history they've had a lot more European experience and proved they can compete there. It's the first time experience for ours under the lights in those big games, so it's advantage them already. And they've got the fortuitous home leg second, which is a shame for us as well. So it is. I like European football is our thing as well. It's like the one thing we're better than Arsenal at is playing in Europe. It's like the one thing where I love that we've got over them, and to have that potentially not have that next season is really gutting. It really, really is. And think we
Yeah.
want to get it. If we don't get it next season, I'm concerned it will be 2 or 3 years till we get it back. If we have to start a whole new project all
Because
over
everyone-
again, or even
Yeah, Jim, everyone's going to start strengthening even more so next season. If we haven't got European football next season, which at the moment looks like we haven't, if we don't win the Europa, certain players are going to start questioning, mate.
Mhm.
You know, the Kulus of this world, Bentancur, Romero's, they're going to want to leave. Am I right, lads? They're going to start thinking, well, I need to start.
I think they already.
know,
I think, some of them
You
already
know,
are.
so
Oh,
then it's
I think-
another bunch of people coming through. So I think.
I think Romero will be the first one out the door, I reckon.
Yeah, 100%.
I think
mate,
he'd be
100%.
offer. I think he's the one though that would go. I don't think unless we were suddenly winning titles. I think Romero, if he's still got the likes of Madrid breathing down his neck, he's gone. I think regardless, but I do agree in the others. I think we've got other big names like Kulusevski and Bentancur that we could tie down for another 2 or 3 years if we show progression.
Yeah.
If we don't, they'll just be dropping their knickers for
But I also
any
think
suitor any
Romero's the
summer.
sort of player to cut strings very, very quickly. I think he's just that type of person, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
it's a
agree.
shame.
But listen, I think we all, feel differently about Ange. I think one thing we collectively can agree about tonight is that where we are at the moment, it isn't nice. We don't want to be there. It's been a painful season, and we've been, awful domestically. It's been an embarrassing season, frankly, to be 14th place for Tottenham. To lose 15 Premier League games and still, a chunk of the season to go. Is really disappointing. 19 defeats in all competitions. That's losing 50% of our Premier League games. It's poor, whatever way you look at it, and it's lower than mid-table, so it is disappointing. But I also think we can all agree that we remove Postecoglou from the situation. There are problems higher up that a new manager is going to encounter. I think at the moment, for me, you could have any manager here, and I think you're going to have managers that are going to do better. Some might, I don't know, be a lot better than others, but I think they're still going to struggle because of the way that we do business under this ownership. Our kind of model, if you like, it's just so unambitious and it's so out of touch from the other top 6 clubs. We just don't give ourselves a chance. And I look at the January window, and I think a lot of it, and the anti, I think you back me up on this, is why we didn't sign a centre back. A lot of it would have been like they wanted to bring the right player in for Ange, and Ange probably made that a lot more difficult, being the type of manager he is, than it needed to be. But at the end of the day, for me, our season totally collapsed that month because we had so many games in that period, and we knew we needed a centre back coming into the window. It took us 32 days in the end to bring in a centre back. If we'd done that 3-4 weeks earlier, the first week or two of January, we could have been in a different position.
It's the planning.
We knew what we needed.
It's the planning.
Yeah, and we didn't do it. It's poor planning again, like you said. All said tonight.
Harry, how many games have we lost this season in the Prem? Sorry,
15.
All right, so Liverpool. So we could end up losing 18, 19 games this season.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Liverpool, you ain't getting anything away at Anfield, no matter who's in charge. We ain't won there since 1935, so it don't really matter. And Chelsea away.
When was that? Is that actually a serious one? Is that just a tongue in cheek, or is that genuine?
What, against Liverpool?
Yeah, we last won at Anfield.
I believe it was 20.
I was going to say, if it was January 1935, that's a stat I would have kept hold of. That was all.
No.
I'm just making. Sorry, you were just joking. Yeah, I was like, geez, was it? I'm trying to think. That's the last time we beat them at Liverpool.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
2010, so it's nearly 15. So 15 years.
Oh, it's still a long time.
Was 19 something. I mean, have a look, lads. I think it's 1983 or something. So we've never done well up in Anfield, no matter who's in charge. So that's one loss, automatic. Chelsea, I've seen us be, like we all have, 2-1 up, 2-0 up and lose 3-2. You might nick a draw. So give or take a draw or a loss there. And I don't know who else we got. We got West Ham. We got West Ham away, haven't we? We got West Ham away, or we got West Ham out?
Is it home or away? I can't remember.
It's away.
It's their cup final. It's their cup final.
Yeah, it must be away.
So they could lose 15-0 the week before, but turn up against us. So it is what it is, isn't it? They always do. So you're potentially thinking we could end up losing 18, 19 games this season.
I tell you what, I'll go through all our remaining Premier League games. So Chelsea away, Southampton at home, Wolves away, Forest at home, Liverpool away, West Ham away, Palace at home, Aston Villa away, Brighton at home. I mean, what a
Oh,
end of the
mate.
season.
When those
God.
fixtures came out this season, I despised them. And this isn't a defense of Ange, but I just mean in general, the fixtures. Because what I like in the season is when you go through, you have like that 4 or 5 games in a row. You're like, yes, I've got these 5 teams in a row. We're going to get some results. This season, I was like, why does every game you think we should win that one proceed with a Villa away or a Man City away or a Liverpool? It's like you just can't get any rhythm. And that's not a defense of Postecoglou. I still think we should have had a 4 or 5 game winning run at some point this season in the league. But I just feel like the fixtures this year also were just kind of depressing to have to go through.
You have to be realistic with Tottenham. Let's be honest. You can't be blasé about some of these fixtures that are coming up. I mean, Liverpool away, Southampton at home will probably get 3 points, but then again, it is Tottenham. That's what I say to myself every time.
Who ain't scored for Southampton, Travis, this season? They'll have a proper worldie against us. Like Vardy. Vardy just turns up against us, innit?
I know. Yeah. And then you got the likes of Villa. I mean, we got Chelsea after the international break. You know, it's just. And I know we're not talking about transfers tonight, but can I just say we literally had our finger on Pedro Neto, and that idiot went and got Wilson Odobert. Wilson Odobert has been pretty good, but the fact we could have got Pedro Neto is exactly why we won't compete.
And the ironic thing is, Travis, Pedro Neto ain't really been injured this season.
Exactly.
Wilson Odobert never got injured for Burnley. Comes to us and he's injured after his first 2 games.
Same as Solanke. He went a whole season without getting injured at Bournemouth. You know, this is what I'm saying.
We're so cursed.
There's more going on inside that club than what anyone sees.
I think the way the term like no ambition is like one that is true in many respects, but I look at it kind of like there is ambition there in the sense that ENIC have taken the club to the size it is commercially and they've gone for the stadium and all those kind of things. But I just feel our ambition is always long-term ambition. It's never now. So whereas you look at a Villa situation, they're like, screw the 10-year plan. I want to progress next season. I want to be in the Champions League next year. And the year after that, I want to win something. Whereas I find with Spurs, it's kind of always built around if we look at this over 10 years, it doesn't matter so much that we're going to have a really bad 3 years. Because in year 4 and 5, we could have a good year. And then, but the problem is with that, you do need in football, the clubs around you are always thinking, how do I maximize my opportunity over the next 12 months? And if you're going, how do I maximize my opportunity over 10 years? You're never really competitive in the moment. You're always setting managers up to be slightly short because you're going, we need a left back. Yeah, but you'll get through this year. You should have enough to get 6th. And that's the plan for now. You need that guy next year. So you're having that mentality. I think there's ambition there, but it's never now. It's always like, how do I turn Tottenham into this massive, huge behemoth one day, but not right now. And I think that's where I get frustrated with.
But I think the ambition is inside the club. The museum he wants to build, the hotel he wants to build.
There's always long-term asset management.
The stadium is absolutely fantastic. I've done the skywalk. I've been to the ground. It is something out of this world, and you won't appreciate it till you actually go yourself. It is incredible. But the actual what he's doing with a football club is what matters most. And it is just absolutely shocking. There's people that pay thousands for season tickets. There's people that pay thousands for boxes. You know, for me to go to Tottenham to get a train fare, to think about your food and drink as well as your ticket, you're looking at a £400 day minimum. You know, and that's without even going into the shop as well and spending God knows how much in there. And this is the problem. And it's just,
it's definitely a wider football issue, but Spurs are guilty at the heart of it. Yeah, it comes with, I think, with a new stadium.
He needs to sell the club. Daniel Levy needs to sell the club and just move on and go and live on a desert island somewhere. You know, nothing's going to change while Daniel Levy is in charge. If we get another manager, whether that be Poch, whether that be Arola, whoever it is, nothing will change.
I think it's also it's a complicated argument because there's the Levy part, which is a huge part of the ownership, but then there's the wider ENIC part as well. Yeah, and it's
ENIC, isn't it? Really,
because Levy's a big shareholder, but he's a minority shareholder. Lewis Family Trust are the majority shareholders. Technically, they're the kind of part of the model that has the cash reserves and the assets to sell to go. Here you go buy a load of exciting players and challenge for something. Daniel Levy, it's your job to go and instruct how we spend that money and get that success.
That's
the
where
whole, and that's at the top. But the instructions always, it's an organically run club. We don't take tons of money out, but we don't put anything in either. You spend what you generate yourselves. That's the task. And Daniel Levy's, as an asset manager, that's what he is. He's not a football chairman in my head. He's just an asset manager. If I said to someone, "Can you manage my pension?" I'd give it to Daniel Levy. Although he'll probably have a clause in there that he gets 50% of it by the end. But he would turn that pot into a very big pot. But if I
got a nice holidays gone, then you give it to Daniel Levy.
But if I said I want someone to go and build me a sports institution that's going to win trophies, I wouldn't put Daniel Levy on my list of people to set it up.
It's the fact that we're coming to the stadium now. When I go to the stadium, I'm like you lads, and I walk down there and I walk down White Hart Lane from Northumberland Park or wherever, if I park up anyway. But that's by the by. But there's no history there. It's just it feels like an empty bowl. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing that screams Tottenham for me. There's no Jimmy Greaves statue. There's no Glenn Hoddle statue. There's no Harry Kane statue. There's no Bill Nick. There's nothing. I know we've got the small Bill Nick statue, but where is it? Be proud of this club, man. Every other club's got it. Every other club. Even Everton are going to have it when they go to their new stadium. We don't have anything.
No,
and
the PR is really
sad
poor.
To see. Sorry?
Like, the PR is terrible. Like,
so bad.
It's such a quick win to say, I'm going to put £500,000 aside this year, put a Jimmy Greaves statue up, put Bill Nick's gates in there, and have a big outside area all around the history of the club you can't not see when you're walking down the high road or something like that.
Great shout, mate.
Just go do that and you'll win. You'll buy yourselves some kind of, not even sympathy. You'll buy yourself some kind of, like, maybe people might actually whisper, maybe you're listening to us. Maybe you're actually listening to us. And that goes a long way to feel heard as a fan.
Yeah.
But instead it's like, I'll do a painting of Harry Kane down an alleyway.
Yeah.
If there's to be two statues, one is to be Jimmy Greaves and Bill Nick. That is it. I'll draw the line with that. Them two.
Just have those two either side.
Even
of the
Ledley.
ground
Ledley, you got to give Ledley something. You got to give Ledley something there. Do you know what I mean? I know he's a one club man. Could have played on for years, as we know. But even where before you go in the concourse bit with the tickets, there's all the people go out if they're having drinks and all that with a big screen. It's just have, as you said, Jim, just have something there that's sort of done by the Bill Nick Gates, and just something there that screams out Tottenham and our history and our club that we love. I was born into a Spurs family. You think I chose to support Spurs? Trust me. it's what I'm saying, Travis. It's hell, man. It's hell. You know what I'm saying? So, give us something back, man. Come on, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, no,
come on,
listen, you are right. And I go to our stadium, I mean, they're most weeks. And, for me, I love it. I think it's great, but I can't help but feel, it has a very neutral feeling. Like, I don't think we've done enough for the supporters. You mentioned that concourse bit, and it's just all very, like, Wembley type feeling in terms of it could be, in a second be a neutral venue. I just feel like it could have been like little things at Liverpool with the Anfield, plaque before you go out the tunnel, just a little bit more to make it kind of ours. I just feel like we've lost that.
They've done bits, but it's kind of, it just feels like you go inside the stadium. Obviously, there's like the kind of magazine like cutouts and paper cutouts and stuff.
Yeah,
that's quite nice.
That's cool.
But I'd like to see, like, just go name one of the stands, the Jimmy Greaves stand. I don't know. And then when Beyonce is a player,
they've done the
where
basics.
is it? It's in the Jimmy Greaves stand, not in the block 107 or whatever it is. Just add that little bit more of
the Bill Nick suite, or the or the Bill Nick stand. Like they have at Man United, Sir Alex Ferguson stand. You're proud of that. We should be proud.
It's just little things, isn't it? Like the South Stand, and it's just not even the Park Range. It's just little things.
And also try to kind of wash out White Hart Lane from the name because of the commercial benefits of having it called the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium outweigh having White. But the fans would prefer White Hart Lane. Just give us that. Just let us call it White Hart. That would have gone so far.
Listen, the new stadium is lovely, but nothing will ever beat the old White Hart Lane.
No, ever. You're right, mate. You're absolutely right.
I miss the urine overspilling out the toilets. 10 people packed into a cubicle with a cigarette and a warm Carlsberg by a guy who couldn't count my change. Like, I do miss all that kind of old stuff, though. It was brilliant. Like, because you couldn't beat being 1-0 up against Arsenal at the old White Hart Lane.
It was
The place
best.
would rock.
And
It was
yeah,
great.
it was
Yeah.
rocking, man. It was
I've
rocking.
only ever been to one North London derby. That's when we was at Wembley. I went with one of my friends as a season ticket holder, and I've never ever experienced an atmosphere like it. It was absolutely buzzing. It's when Harry Kane scored that header, and it was just superb. And yeah, I'll never forget stuff like that. And I went to the old White Hart Lane quite a few times. It was a special
You're right,
place.
mate. Oh, mate, I saw a few. I saw a lot of North London derbies, but the Harry Kane mask goal, wow! I was
that was brilliant. Yeah,
bro, I've never seen the stadium shake like it was rocking, and it was just because it was one of them goals that come out of nowhere, innit? Do you remember? I don't know. If you remember it. I'm like, it just come out of nowhere, and it just fizzed in. I was like, what? And Carl Walker when he scored, I think we drew 2-2 or 1-1. Yeah,
that when he scored the long range goal.
Yeah,
Walker.
and he was doing that. He was doing
that.
When he
that
scored. Yeah,
when Harry Kane scored from the corner post, pretty much.
That's it. Yeah,
yeah.
That's the mask one, isn't it? He took the mask off, didn't he?
Yeah. There've been
great days.
Beautiful days.
Great days.
Yeah, just to move on to a couple more things. So going back to managers and moving on for Postecoglou, let's say hypothetically, I think this is the most likely scenario at the moment. We wait till the end of the season, then we part ways with Postecoglou. Let's talk about potential, managerial replacements. Jim, I'll kick it off with you. You mentioned some names earlier. Who's kind of top of your list? I mean, it doesn't have to just be one because the managers out there, but it's a lot of them are at clubs at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, like obviously if things we don't. Yeah, anyway, I'm not going to go into whether it should go or not because we've already had that debate. So let's just say the decision's made. No one listens to poor old Jimmy over here in the corner, and the right decision's probably made for the majority. The names on the list is kind of like, okay, who would I want versus who could we get are two kind of different things. So who could we and who do the fans want? And I think 90% of fans are saying, can we get someone who's proven in the Premier League or La Liga, or a league that's similar competitive. But if you look at the Premier League first, you've probably then got Iriola, Thomas Frank, and Kieran McKenna are probably the only three people who we could take from their club's Premier League experience, play decent football. I think those are the only, and you guys may have someone to chip in with that. I haven't thought of that, but those three are kind of the ones. And then I look at what we need with the squad and the situation it is. I think Iriola is a great coach, but I think he might find himself with some of the same pains that Postecoglou's had. He's very prone to causing mass injury crisis in the squad because it's high octane football, direct balls, and lots of sprints. So I think I look at McKenna and Thomas Frank, and I'm not looking at these guys as like the solution that's going to win us the Champions League. I'm looking at it as the next step of a manager who gets us back into competing into the top six and solidifies our place there, right? Before you then go again with maybe a more ambitious option, if you want to word it like that. So I think then you've got McKenna and Frank, and I probably lean to Frank just because his in-game management, I think, is something a lot of Spurs fans are asking for. He is that extra level of, I don't really have a set, die-hard, dogged philosophy. I will adapt to games, and this squad is going to need a lot of adapting and tweaking depending on who we're playing against each week. And I think he'd get us to a point where we are in the top six again. We're having a decent run in the cups and we're playing decent football. And that's kind of the next step. I think that'll be enough to appease us for a couple of years, but then I want to see who's the next guy, takes that next level. I'm not sure. I guess we have to wait and see at the time. That's my thought anyway.
Okay, no, thank you very much. I think that Frank's a manager that's really underrated. There's a lot of talk, and rightly so, about managers like Iriola at the moment. And I think Frank gets left out of that conversation, the job that he's done with Brentford, where he's taken them since he took over, and just generally how they're doing now. So that's really impressive. Travis, potential managerial replacements, who comes to your mind?
I've only got one in mind, and I've got many reasons why.
I know yours, yeah.
And it's going to be Poch.
Sorry, I didn't think of. Sorry, and I'm sorry for not putting that one on my short list. But carry on. Sorry.
As I said, I've supported Spurs my whole life, and he reminded me why I love Tottenham the way that I do, regardless of all the wrath that's going on at the moment. That night in Amsterdam, I've never experienced anything like that, and it was just, I think just getting back, giving one more chance, and just, I think more than anything, I think it will lift the fans. I'm not saying it will lift every fan, but I think it will lift the fans in a really positive way. I think you've just got to give them the backing, but will that happen? Who knows? But it's going to be Poch for me for many different reasons. And he bled Spurs, and he's probably been the best manager in my time as a Tottenham fan, and given me so many memories that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Yeah, 100%. But Poch is, he's struggling at the moment, with the US national team has had a shaky international break. Maybe he's trying to get the sack, as someone said in the comments, to come to Spurs.
Yeah, exactly. He's been speaking about Spurs, so we've cursed him, bless him. Yeah,
Cool, man,
I don't know who's out there. I've seen a lot of Xavi, and I don't know why.
Okay.
Doesn't really do it for me. I'm just saying these are the names that I've seen on Twitter and various podcasts and stuff. I like Areola, but as Jim mentioned, he plays that type of football that Ange does with a lot of injuries, and I don't think we'll be able to cope if he did come. Of course, if he did come, I'll back him. Thomas Frank's an interesting one. It'll be interesting to see him go to a step up club, so to speak. And I think Spurs would be that step up club. Would he be ideal for us? I don't know. I think he's done Brentford wonders. It's just a tough one, because whoever you get, I'm sure we'll be speaking in 18 months' time on your show, Harry, about the same thing and the same thing here. So,
and I'll have 2 new biographies at the back, whoever they are.
Yeah.
And I'll be telling you, give them 6 more months, guys. You'll be going, no.
Yeah. But listen, I love the fact that I love hearing your views, though, Jim. I really do. I respect that, because I'm very much a hothead. Once I don't like something, I don't like something, and that's it. That's just me. But it's interesting to see your views. But a new manager, I don't know, mate. I don't know. I've got no idea.
The other kind of romantic thing I like about some of those names in the Premier League, though, is like Pochettino, we were his step up and it worked. And Redknapp, we were kind of his step up and it worked.
Loved Redknapp.
So I kind of like have a romantic thing of like, I don't necessarily need to see us like winning a trophy the next 3 years to be, I'd want to win a trophy more than anything, but I can be happy again seeing the progressive rise again, like we had under Redknapp and we had under Yol and we had under Pochettino, where it was that first 2 or 3 seasons of we're getting better every week.
Yes,
and
that's
we're just
what I want to
crawling
see,
up the
Jim.
table, and all these exciting attacking players are coming through. That's what I loved. That was
absolutely
brilliant.
spot on, mate. Spot on. I can't disagree with you. It's that I want to go to a 3 o'clock game and know it. All right, we got a good chance though. Whereas, I hate now that when we play at 12:30 kickoff under Ange, I know it's going to ruin my weekend. Do you know what I mean? Or wait. And you got to wait till the next week, and it's just like, I just dread it, mate. I just dread it. I just can't wait for the season to end.
No,
unless we pull off a miracle in Europe.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Can only hope. But no, thank you guys. I think that kind of wraps us up nicely for this week's episode. So thank you very much. Short, sweet, but I think we all had our say, vented, got our thoughts out, and that's what it's all about. So thank you very much. Let's go through and discuss where people can find you. No problem at all. Anthony, thank you so much for coming on your debut with a lot to talk about. Anytime. Where can people find you,
mate? Just find me anywhere. I don't know, on socials, innit? Come and say hello. Come talk Spurs. What's my debut been like? Has it been like
it's been good.
What sort of debut? What sort of Spurs type player debut wise?
What are we talking? Danny Rose on his Premier League debut?
Oh,
Harry,
Danny Rose.
Or are we talking?
I think it's something instant.
I'll take that, my friend.
I'm thinking Bergwijn, instant impact coming off the bench.
Remember that one? Oh.
Yeah, I do.
Lovely.
I remember that Leicester away moment.
Would you go back to, this is going to sound stupid. Would you go back to Ajax or the Leicester away game? I know they're completely different games. I know.
Ajax.
Would you?
Leicester was special, but it was just
Leicester
one game.
I was like, wow. I remember seeing it. Yeah.
But we should never put ourselves in that position. So it's nice it was
exactly.
the 2 worlds. You know what I mean?
Who scores for them? Madison. Yeah, always turned up. Yeah. Like Vardy used to, or still does.
Well, he still does. He probably still will as well.
Oh, he still will. Yeah, exactly.
Mm,
But listen,
not
lads,
go
it's
away.
been
Thank you.
It's been great.
Thanks, lads.
Lovely to meet you, Travis. Lovely to
You
meet you,
too,
Jim.
Anthony.
Harry,
Lovely to meet
always
you,
a
Anthony
pleasure,
and
my friend.
Travis. Well, I've met you before, Travis. Nice to meet you again.
And,
Nice to
100%.
meet you, Anthony.
Yeah, Jim, where can people find you across social media? Talk to people about the Oh So Spurs podcast.
Yeah, so YouTube's the main platform we use for our content on there. So you can find us on there. You like go. We work kind of with JJ's joined us, an A licensed coach who likes to give really good kind of deep dives into things. We've got a general pod that comes up and members only talk shows as well. So I'll be on Last Word on Spurs tonight, co-hosting of Ricky. If you want to stay up late tonight as well.
Nice.
But you always find me on
Love
Twitter. If you want to send us messages, go on X. You'll find me on there. And you've got a website, www.osospurs.com, if you want to send a question into the show as well.
Send my love to Ricky, Jim, please.
We'll do.
Lovely. Thank you very much. And Travis, thanks as well for coming on tonight. Where can people find you across social media?
Yeah, thanks for having me back on again, Harry. Always an absolute pleasure to be on these shows. Absolutely great to meet you, Anthony, and obviously I've met you before, Jim. So yeah,
Nice to meet you, mate.
I love everyone's opinions. Just obviously talking Spurs. You can find me at officialcaster on X. I am also on LinkedIn. I do a lot of charity work and a lot of work on men's mental health.
Yeah,
Very good.
keep up.
We should chat about
Fantastic
that,
work.
Travis, because we've got mental health first aid certified over the last few months, and we're trying to kind of build a Spurs community of people who are also MHFA certified to have somewhere to go that's not their spouse or.
That'd be brilliant,
Yeah.
Jim.
Yeah,
I'm
so
trying to get in my workplace at the moment as a first aider. So yeah, that'd be really interesting.
Yeah, and we've got funding, by the way, to do 2 more people and pay for their course. So because we raised money through a Just Giving page.
Well,
so if you did want to use that, we can talk about it afterwards anyway. Yeah.
Thank you. Cheers, Jim.
Fantastic.
That's great.
Fantastic.
Always make time for mental health discussions on the podcast. Absolutely. I think that's something we should definitely look into. Thank you very much to everyone for tonight. Thank you for listening, for watching. Please do make sure you follow if you're listening on a podcast platform, because it is available on all major podcast platforms. If you're listening on YouTube, please do like and subscribe. For now, a massive come on you Spurs. Hopefully next time you'll be hearing from me. We'll be positive, previewing Chelsea. Come on you Spurs.